Hey everybody, this is Taylor with Rural Gorge Anglers in Canyon City, Colorado, the oldest fly shop and fly fishing guide service on the Arkansas River and only Orvis endorsed outfitter on the entire Arkansas River Basin. We're really excited, folks. We're moving into September and moving into the fall season in Colorado. Really one of our favorite times of year, moving out of kind of that hotter weather into, cooler overnight lows and lower flows. Of course, this year we've had lower than average flows pretty much throughout the season. And really kind of saw flows take a dive in the middle part of August once our voluntary flow management program ceased. And right now we're at about 200 CFS on the Arkansas Freestone in Bighorn Sheep Canyon, that 200 to 250 CFS window. So low, very, very clear. Even some great return clarity in lower Bighorn after some heavy monsoon activity on the Cottonwood Creek drainage. We've got great clarity now in lower Bighorn Canyon all the way through Canyon City. And we're starting, like I said, starting to see those cooler overnight lows. We're starting to see water temps into the 40s upstream of Salida, into the low 50s, mid 50s, and low 60s at daytime highs in Bighorn Sheep Canyon, rather than your high 60s in some cases. So we're really excited about that. That's really gonna increase productivity on the Arkansas Basin and many of our surrounding drainages, the smaller streams, the Arkansas Tail Race, the South Platte. That fall weather is really going to increase productivity because we'll be 100% honest, the last couple weeks of August were fairly difficult. Not maybe the last week of August, but the third week of August was getting hot, low water, fairly technical. We've really turned a corner in the last 7 days, and we should really just have some phenomenal fishing through the month of September and October. Long-term forecasts expect to be relatively warm and wet, so we're expected to see some of those daily showers about 20% of the time, which will be really nice to keep it green and keep it cool. And then our long-term forecast, even in Canyon City, next 10 days or so, expected to be in the 70s and low 80s. So really beautiful fishing weather. Those temperatures will drop as we get into September into the 60s and 70s for daytime highs, which just will be phenomenal for what we expect to be a fantastic fall season on the entire Arkansas Basin. Just touch real briefly on the Arkansas tailwater, which is one of our major fisheries, one of our focal points, especially in the fall season, one of our bread and butter areas. Right now, we've finally got a little bit more water in the tailwater at about 65 CFS flow rate. We're expecting to get another 30 to 40 CFS, hopefully due to the collaboration of CPW and Colorado TU and buying some water to get released there. So hopefully we'll be in the 100 CFS mark down there. Like I said, water temperatures are fairly stable down there in the mid 50s in the first 3 miles at least. So we should see some excellent fishing down on the Arkansas tailwater as well. Really, like I said, we're just really excited about the conditions changing, getting cooler, The low flows on the Arkansas Freestone and the tailwater will make for very easy navigation, easy fishing. You definitely know where the fish are holding because there's just not much water. You know, they're in the heavier structure, the deeper tail out, so on and so forth. So should be, you know, really enjoyable fall fisheries, you know, both the Freestone and the Arkansas Tail Race. And we're really looking forward to that. So major changes in the aquatic invertebrate population as far as what's really active in the Arkansas Freestone. We'll start to see less and less of your pale morning duns and your red quills, although sometimes we do see red quills push on through the month of September. And we'll start to see heavy introduction of pseudobatis, which is your small dark blue-winged olive. We're already starting to see a lot of productivity on those pseudobatis in the substrate, and we should, with this weather, start to see a lot of them on the surface as well. A lot of adults. Continue to see some red quill spinner falls, you know, and especially in the morning and evening. And then crane flies are hatching as well, so you'll see those big guys out there, along with some October caddis, potentially starting in September, some smaller caddis as well. And you know, really what we look for in the month of September and October is, you know, those being great dry dropper months, continuing that activity. But you know, things do typically get a bit more technical, especially with lower water and very clear water. You're going to need to do a little nymphing throughout the day, and so we expect, you know, like I said, a good combination of dry dropper fishing, nymphing, and then of course your streamer fishing really kicks up in the fall once those fish, once our brown trout population begins to get in that pre-spawn mindset, when we really start to see a lot of fish congregating and being very territorial. Then we really start to throw streamers, and we've already seen that in some areas. So really exciting stuff. What I'd like to do now is look at some patterns. Like I said, things are changing in the, you know, bug front, obviously ever changing, but really we see a strong transition to a lot smaller flies in the fall. Still, you know, throwing some attractor dries and streamers, obviously, for those opportunistic feeders, but you know, overall, our dropper nymphs and our hatch matchers are going to be much smaller, you know, with that pseudobatis category, some red quills, obviously. So let's take a look at those, just a few recommended, you know, patterns, just to give you a good idea of what we're looking at here on the Arkansas in the months of September and October. Okay, folks, so as you can see, going a lot smaller on a lot of these patterns, but still plenty of large bugs there, especially in your, you know, stonefly and streamer category for those opportunistic feeding fish. Let's kind of start with your attractor dries for dry dropper rigs. One of our favorites here lately is the Bopper Hopper. It's a newer pattern from Rick Takahashi. It's more of an attractor dry than a hopper. Tan body, slight profile. We always love rubber legs in, you know, late summer and fall. One of my favorites. The Party Animal, a newer fly from Andrew Grillos in both tan and olive. We like both of those colors. Good tractor lead fly, easy to see, supports weight well. JC Special, really just a juiced up PMX, one of our favorites, of course, here. Slight profile, rubber legs again. Amy's Ant, one of your tried and true standby patterns in both tan and red. Recommended colors in the fall. Looking at your hatch matcher dries, obviously olive bodied caddis, there are plenty of those out there, plenty of dark bodied caddis. Your October caddis is going to have more of an orangish body. They can be rather big, but this is just your general foam, better foam caddis you can find here at the fly shop in various colors. Your Screaming Banshee, great skating pattern. Really like to work the shallow pocket water this time of year with this pattern as a single dry. You know, in the mornings and evenings, fishes real well. Your red quill, you know, looking at kind of a crossover between an adult and a spinner. This is called the profile. Red quill, high vis, easy to see. Does have those spinner wings, but you can definitely cut those off if you need to, just for an adult, but works great in a spinner fall as well. Your drown spinner, red quill, one of our go-tos. You can, you know, let it sink behind an attractor dry, or you can fish it, you know, on the surface with plenty of float. Tricos are definitely starting to be around. Your trico spinners, that's called the chubby trico here. One of our favorites, size 2022. Your split flag, a great pseudo Baetis in a size 18-20, dark body, nice and easy to see. Your low water Baetis, one of our favorites, you know, dark body, slight profile. Now let's look at some lead attractor nymphs, or if you're a Euro nympher, you can run on the point. We are starting to see fish get kind of on that rubber leg stone bite. This is your tease stone in darker color, really like that guy. Your stone bomb, Frank Smethurst pattern, a great, you know, lead attractor nymph in a double nymph rig or point fly in a Euro rig. A couple point flies for Euro style fishing. You can fish them in a Western rig as well, but these are tied on a jig hook. This is your Iron Sally, tied double heavy on a jig hook. Your Psycho Prince, one of our favorites in the late summer and fall, tied on a jig, double heavy. And then crane flies, your CZ crane in that olive color with the trigger orange in the thorax. Then kind of looking at your kind of dropper nymphs that could be fished, you know, as a lead fly, if you'd like to go real small on your nymph rigs, but mostly dropper nymphs under an attractor dry or under a bigger stone fly, one of the attractor nymphs we just looked at. This is your simply termed a Euro jig, but this is the red quill imitation. Just a great mayfly dropper there. Your red copper johns, which are standbys during this time period, along with your red 2-bit hookers. In the caddis category, the metallic larva, Larry Kingery's pattern, one of our favorites, of course. The GTI caddis, one of our go-tos in the fall with kind of that orange and chartreuse coloration. Don't forget your caddis pupa. This is your kryptonite, Juan Ramirez. Has been fishing real well the last week or so and will continue to fish well. Another one of Juan's patterns, your Slim Shady, tied with double tungsten. We have these here at the shop with double tungsten or in the merger category with no weight. Great pattern for your pseudo Baetis. Another great pseudo Baetis is the Mighty May. We've really got 24 different great pseudo Baetis patterns, so these are two of those that we like. And then kind of looking at your streamer category, and with lower water in the 200 to 250 CFS range in Bighorn and even lower upstream, we are fishing a bit smaller lead flies in a tandem rig, so your slump busters, like your standard black with silver cone, a great pattern, the new hot cone slump busters in natural and purple and with that hot orange cone have been good. But we've continued to see fish, eat these bigger dungeons, these mini dungeons, not the big dungeons, but Kelly Gallup's mini dungeon. These are great lead flies in a tandem rig, or you can fish them on their own. Trailer flies, we like these little pine squirrel leeches and thin mints. The ones we're looking at are black and olive micro pine squirrel leeches. Those fish real well as trailer flies. So that'll give you a general idea of patterns as we move into the fall season. These should be great through the month of September and October for you on the Arkansas Freestone, and many of these smaller flies in the nymph category and also in the dry category will fish well on the Arkansas tailwater for you. So hopefully taking a look at some of those patterns will help you have a good idea of what will be productive on the Arkansas Freestone here this fall. A lot of those patterns will transition to the Arkansas tailwater. Obviously some of the larger stoneflies and larger attractors, stuff like that won't so much, but a lot of those pseudobatis and midges and caddis larvae will, of course. Again, really we'll be focusing on dry dropper and nymphing for the most part, along with that great streamer activity that we always see in the fall when our brown trout population gets in that pre-spawn mode when they get territorial. Always fantastic to see that fishing, which we've already started to see a great upturn in that streamer bite. So again, if you have any questions on anything we've covered or just projections on what the fishing should be like, in the month of September and October, of course, we're always happy to answer any questions directly. We've got our live chat on our website during business hours. We've also got staff, obviously, in the fly shop and guide office to help you at 888-994-6743, extension 1 for the fly shop, extension 2 for the guide office. We've got some great dates still available for guided trips on the Arkansas tailwater, the South Platte, and other surrounding drainages. So if you'd like to get out this fall, just such a great time to be out there with changing foliage and cooler air temps, water temps, typically just, very, very productive fishing as well. Do give us a call, or you can see our live availability and rates for our different trip options online at royalgorgeanglers.com and within the guided trip pane. Thanks so much for viewing today. Let us know if you do have any questions. We'd love to see you in the fly shop, of course, on your way up to the river, and have a great day on the water.